Welcome to the show, guys. 5 guys drugged and robbed by 5 women on the same night. And they knew about the precautions they had to take. And they ignored it. This is why we're doing this show. We are starting to see more and more of guys not just basically not taking precautions. And let's just get into it, man. Because I know there's not a lot of people in the room right now. They'll probably start dragging it as I go along. So that's why I got this long video. So
night, 2 episodes in one night. This one coming in because this incident just recently happened. And guys, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna offer $1,000 to anyone that ends up providing us any information that leads to an arrest, because this is an active investigation. There's a police report that's been filed. I'm going to share that with you here in a second. But a tourist here was visiting. He met a woman on Tinder, right? I keep telling you guys about that, right? You shouldn't be there. But anyway, right? He suggested to meet at a bar, but she kept insisting to meet at and just go home for an easy night in. Second red flag. If they insist on going to your house, guys, you need to run fast. It's not good, okay? Drank 1 beer, boom, lost.
Or just say no. How's that? Or why are you even picking people up from Tinder? There's freaking brothels all over the place. Go to a brothel. It's a lot safer.
Consciousness, okay? In the process, he lost everything. Here is the list on the police report here. He lost a total of over 16,000 US dollars. When you bring in all the valuables, his debit card, credit cards, crypto, MacBooks, they took his phone. And when they take the phone, it makes it really hard to report on these guys because they have the very device that you use to meet with them and connect with them, okay? So here's the police report. It's an active investigation. This happened just a couple of days ago, and she was working with an accomplice. I'm going to expose this piece of shit first. If anybody knows him and you can help provide us information that leads.
Fucking baby Count Dracula looking mother. Ugh.
Arrest, I will pay you $1,000 US. And for you, if you are in this picture and you're watching this, you're a real fucking piece of shit, and we're going to get your ass. I believe that these guys are Venezuelan, and that's important for me to bring up. I know that she is, because the locals here hate to be included in crimes when they're not committing them. So this is the man that was involved, and here she is. If anyone knows who either of these two are, and you can help us get with information that leads to an arrest, I will pay you $1,000 out of my own pocket. We don't need the city. We don't need anything. I will pay you out of my own pocket. We're going to start bringing these people to justice. So there she is. I know that somebody has to know her out there, has a name, a phone number, something that we could start to work with the police to get these guys caught. She is 100% Venezuelan. I can't say for sure who he is. I do know he's a fucking piece of shit. But these two here just recently robbed the tourist. Any information, you guys, that you could give us to help bring them to justice, send it my way. In the meantime, for you guys that are doing this, we're going to keep exposing you. We're going to keep coming after you. For you guys that are tourists and you foreigners, stay off the fucking dating apps. Never let them come to your house. Right? I don't know how many times I could say this, but for tonight, let's find these two and let's bring them to justice.
Yeah, you can call me TE, man. That's cool, bro. You're good. And what's up, brother? Again, I don't know why you guys, if you're going to just do the nookie stuff, just go to a brothel. It's a lot safer. But you want to still go on Tinder apps. And now everybody's talking about, oh, Venezuela open up. We'll go to Venezuela. Yeah, you jump from the frying pan into the belly of the beast. Because that's a nightmare and a half going down there to Venezuela. You sure will definitely go back home in cargo.
Guys, it's episode 9 of Exposed. Let's jump into it. So here is the story. A group of guys was hanging out. Some, or at least one, actually lives here, which I just pointed that out because A, if you live here, doesn't mean you're immune. B, like we spoke about before, just because you're in a group doesn't mean you're immune, right? A lot of times people find themselves in a situation that ends up leading to a belief that because, you know, they're in a group or I live here or something along those lines, that they are safe, and that allows you to drop your guard, okay? So one brought someone from Tinder, okay? One of the friends, well, someone canceled, right? They went to a rooftop, they went to eat, you know, they were out and about, and then they ended up going back to the house, okay? So it's called the jungle house. That's where everything happened. Now, you're going to see one of the things that we've touched on, I spoke about it today, right? You don't have to be drinking alcohol to get drugged. One of the guys was driving, he was not drinking, he was drinking water, and he got drugged, okay? So it's very important that you guys...
Y'all better be thankful these guys woke up. Because sometimes when they drug you, you ain't waking up. So these guys are very, very lucky.
Recognize this stuff, all right? So here's some of the story. They were out hanging out, right? One of the friends canceled. One of the girls end up bringing another friend. We talked about that too, right? When they bring a friend, it's a huge red flag. There are red flags here that are easy to see afterwards, but it's easy to overlook in the moment, guys. Now here, you're going to see the girl actually drugging the drinks, right?
Never leave them alone with drinks. Cardinal rule. Never, if they bring you drinks, never take them.
Literally just put scopolamine in their drinks while someone was distracting the guy. She was in there by herself, alone with drinks, where we said, hey, don't let them pour the drinks. Do not let them be alone with the drinks, okay? Here she is, you know, getting them right there. Who is she, right? She goes by the name of Lala. If anyone has any information on this chick here, okay, we will pay you if she ends up getting caught by the police and turned in, all right? But here's the deal. This is what is being offered. One of the things that was stolen was a ledger, okay? For recovery of the ledger, we'll pay 10 million pesos if we can get that ledger back. So anyone here that's a local, if you know them or anything like that, if you can get the ledger back, 10 million pesos. If you bring her, it's a bonus, okay? Here's some other pictures of her. She's got a clear tattoo on that leg that you could see plain as day. This is her friend that was with her, okay, guys? So friend may be familiar too for some of you guys. Please, we want to know.
Yeah, so-called baddies. He was about like what, 4 or 5s?
About her, she was involved in this as well. Obviously, Lala, the mastermind, is here in the front of this picture. And there was a third friend as well. This is the only picture I have up here, but there is a total of 3 women, okay? If you can help us, if you have any information on them, please bring forth the information. Anyone that could find that ledger, however you get it, 10 million pesos for returning the ledger, reach out to me. And be aware of these chicks.
What's good, guys? Welcome to another episode of my YouTube channel. And today,
Now, this is the Colombian guy. He's very popular in Colombia. I know his English is not that good, but I'm going to read the article he has because I have it on this computer. For some reason, it doesn't come out well bringing it up here, but I'll bring it up. I'll just read a portion of it, but just kind of bear with me with him.
I would like to give you an international updates because in the country of Panama, which is a country, they started doing the same thing that they've been doing in Colombia, expelling people that they coming to get adult service. An American citizen was the first victim when he was doing a layover.
He said adult services, basically, he was saying.
Panama. His final destination was Medellin, Colombia, but they realized that he was coming to get adult service, and what they did was send him back home. They would do the same thing that they're doing down here. Hard, we never know, so let's jump in this article and let's introduce in this news. It won't be too long until people jump in social media saying that Panama, they expelling passports, that in Panama they don't like black people, and that in Panama they feel some type of way about passports visiting over there. I want to clarify, I want to say that this video is not basic on passports because there is not an ID, there is not like an identity, there is no something that identify you as a passport. This brother right here, he was a white person. I don't know if he's a part of Pastor Bros. I don't know if he's on the group. I don't know nothing about that. What I do know is that Panama is implementing now the same way that they've been doing it in Colombia. They expelling people that they come to get adult service. This is basically what I read, in this article in this news.
Now you got everybody just, and I'm gonna get a little bit more into something else that I kind of touched on last week. There's more video I want to show you.
Panama is doing this simple because they doing it in Colombia, and they know that there is a lot of brothers that they also go to Panama to get to hang out with the girls. There is nothing wrong with that, on my opinion. But these countries, like they had the lows and they kind of like trying to be respectable now. Long story short, Panama has been working with Colombia for a long time together because Panama used to be a Colombian territory. They just independence from us like in 1903, if I'm not wrong. Basically, what I learned, when I was in high school, but they were part of Colombian territory. Panama is a small country, and we have a lot of things together. I have a lot of family in Panama, and a lot of friends that I know. They almost everybody that I know somebody in Panama, so we have a lot of things in common. You know what I mean? So probably Colombia was talking with Panama to also reject, expel these kind of travelers that they coming to their territory, also to get those type of service.
There is a quiet revolution happening at border crossings.
Okay, let me explain what he was saying. Uh, the article, which is from H13N, which I believe is I believe it's out of Medellin. The article is entitled "Unadmitted in Panama Foreigner Who Sought to Reach Medellin Due to Alleged Links with Exploitation of Minors." Um, the immigration authorities in Panama prevented the transit through their territories of an American citizen who intended to travel to Medellin after detecting an alert against them for alleged crimes relating to sexual exploitation of a minor. The man was detained during verification checks at Tacoma International Airport and later returned to the United States. So this was probably the Angel Watch program, because it's not, I don't think the Angel Watch program is just exclusively to Colombia. So that's what probably caught him. The foreigner was trying to make a stopover at the main Panamanian air terminal with the final destination to Colombia when the National Migration Service of Panama identified the immigration alert that weighed against them. According to authorities, the citizen would be linked to the alleged case of sex tourism with minors. In application in the application of the current rules on migration security, the authorities decided to inadmit him and prevented his transit through Panamanian territory. His identity and the details of the investigation against him were not revealed. Yeah. So basically, this was what's up, Pooh? So basically, this was the Angel Watch alert that that triggered it. So that's what Carlos was saying. It wasn't necessary that the guy was going for adult services. It was he got caught through the Angel Watch program. So I want to continue with this because this is going to be very interesting. And this is something I kind of touched on last week when me and Ronan, shout out to Ronan, was talking about this. You don't know what these people are putting when you get deported, are putting into your whatchamacallit, okay? Putting in your jacket when you're leaving. You don't know what's on these chips. That's it, because in your passport there's a chip. Don't destroy the chip because you won't get in. And if they find out you destroyed your chip, you can be possibly criminally charged because that passport you do not own. That passport is still U.S. government property. Okay, you don't know what is in systems when you're going through there. There's a lot of data, and you're on datas. You don't know what that data is saying. You don't know what tier you're on. And this is the thing I tell people. Well, I'm not really telling people anymore because y'all want to go do what you want to do. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna find out the hard way. All this stuff we put on social media and all this other stuff that we're putting out there, you don't know what's being put on these things, on these passports and stuff like that. You don't know what's in transit. Like, for example, when that mayor went, that mayor of Medellin had several have been back and forth to the United States discussing about child exploitation and people coming over to Medellin. And I will guarantee you, Passport Bros has came out of his mouth. And if you identified as a passport bro, they're probably thinking you're dealing that child exploitation stuff. Even if you haven't done it, because if you look at the term passport bros, we already knew that as guys going overseas to meet women for long distance relationship. Now it's getting tied into what? Oh, pay for play stuff, going over there getting prostitutes. Now it's getting tied into child exploitation. You see, even though the original meaning was never meant to be that, it's just you get all these characters in there now getting tied to this one definition that was never meant to be, whether it's our fault or not. Okay, this is what I'm saying. That one terminology got tied into a whole bunch of stuff, and that's where you got to be careful. And it's even being tied to people who's not even part of this movement, like me. I'm not part of this. I'm just a traveler. But as soon as you get off the plane, oh, that's a passport bro. He's by himself. He's probably here for some. Everybody's just gonna come out and assume that. You don't know what these people are putting in stuff for, and it's sad. It's like you can't travel to certain countries anymore. So let me play this video, and you're gonna understand where I'm coming from, bro. Yeah, I gotta be careful traveling now because, like I said, you don't know what these immigration officials putting in these systems now about when you arrive on these things, arriving to their airports in their countries.
Airport checkpoints around the world. It does not look dramatic from the outside. You approach a booth, glance at a camera, place your finger on a pad, or look into a screen. A few seconds pass, and you are waved through. What is happening in those few seconds is considerably more complex than it appears. Artificial intelligence systems are processing your biometric data, cross-referencing it against databases, and making or informing decisions that used to require significantly more time and human involvement. This video is going to walk through how airports and border agencies are currently using artificial intelligence in the border control process. What that
Think about it. Now they're using the AI to make the decisions, not just like common sense and human rationale and stuff like that. It's based on these parameters, and you fit it. That's it. Oh, he's been going to this country. This country's been known for uh, S trafficking and stuff like that. Okay, he's probably there for that.
for travelers, and what questions this technology raises that are still being worked through. To set the scene properly, it helps to understand why this technology is being adopted at all. International air travel has grown enormously over the past few decades, and border agencies around the world are managing passenger volumes that they're
I'm sorry about the video because I snatched this off. I thought it was very relevant. Whoever did the freaking photography sucks.
existing infrastructure was not originally designed to handle. At the same time, the expectations around security have increased. Agencies are being asked to screen more people, more thoroughly, more quickly than was previously possible using only traditional methods. Artificial intelligence offers a potential answer to parts of this challenge. Systems that can process large volumes of data rapidly, recognize patterns that human officers might miss or take longer to identify, and operate consistently without the fatigue that affects human performance over a long shift represent a meaningful capability upgrade for agencies managing high-volume border environments.
The most visible application of artificial intelligence at borders is facial recognition technology. This is the system most travelers have encountered, even if they did not know exactly what was happening when they looked into a camera at a passport gate or an automated kiosk. Facial recognition at borders works by capturing an image of a traveler's face and comparing it against a reference image, typically the photograph stored on their passport chip or in a government database. The AI system analyzes specific features of the face, measurements and relationships between points that remain relatively consistent, regardless of changes in lighting, aging within a reasonable range, or minor variations in expression. It produces a confidence score, indicating how closely the live image matches the reference. In most automated gate systems currently in use at major international airports, a high confidence match allows the traveler to pass through without additional manual checking. Customs and Border
So,
Protection has been expanding the use of biometrics.
so they say. But if you do something wrong overseas, where a lot of guys get caught up in stupid stuff, they run that stuff, to the immigration guys. You don't know what they're putting in there.
Facial comparison at international arrival and departure points as part of its broader biometric entry and exit program. In the United Kingdom, e-passport gates at major airports use a similar process to verify traveler identity automatically. Beyond facial recognition, artificial intelligence is being applied to document verification. Modern passports contain a chip that stores a digital version of the holder's personal information and photograph. AI-assisted readers can verify the authenticity of this chip, check the document against known security features, and cross-reference the information against relevant databases in a fraction of the time it would take a human officer working manually. This
Yeah, like how often you go to this country and for what reason? Like why you constantly going like every other month to these particular countries? Why are you going to these particular countries? And these are known drug source countries or known countries that's doing child exploitation or human trafficking or sex exploitation. Be careful, guys. See, like I go to Mexico, they even pull me over there. Why you going to Mexico? I'm a resident. Here's my address. I pull out a card. I got a residency card, so they can't really say anything. It's like, okay, cool, you're done. These guys constantly going back and forth and this and that. They can raise some eyebrows.
automated document checking can identify altered or fraudulent documents more reliably and consistently than visual inspection alone. AI systems are also being used in the background of the border process in ways that are less immediately visible to travelers. Advanced passenger information systems, which process data about travelers before they even arrive at the airport, now commonly use algorithmic analysis to assess risk profiles. Airlines are required to submit passenger information to border agencies in advance of arrival, and AI tools help agencies analyze.
I got the Mexican for the. I just renewed it for Mexico. I got the 3-year permit, the 3-year temp. Once I get to my 3rd year, I'm gonna put in for the permanent, which should be easy. Paraguayan still is in the crosshairs. I got a whole bunch of residencies that's in my crosshairs, dude. And the next live I'm gonna do is gonna be on the easiest visas to get. So I'm gonna do a show on that one. So you may want to come check that one out.
This data to identify individuals who may warrant additional attention upon arrival.
This kind of pre-arrival risk assessment has been part of border security practice for some time, but the analytical capability of AI systems allows it to be done at much greater scale and with more variables in play than older rule-based systems allowed. The system is looking for patterns across a wide range of data points, combinations of factors that together suggest a traveler may need additional review when they arrive. Some airports are also experimenting with
You got to make 40, something like either 41 or $4,500. You got to show that either in payroll or bank account, $4,500 a month for the last 6 months.
AI-assisted behavioral analysis systems, though this area is considerably more contested and less widely deployed than facial recognition or document verification. These systems use cameras to analyze movement patterns, facial expressions.
Oh, and any also, it's going to vary depending on which which Mexican consulate you go to, because you're going to have to go to the Mexican consulate within the United States to do the process. You're going to have to start there first. So don't go to Mexico and do the process. You got to have to start the process here first.
Other behavioral signals in public areas of the airport. The premise is similar to the human behavioral detection approaches we have discussed in previous videos, but automated and operating at a much larger scale. The scientific basis and practical reliability of automated behavioral analysis remains a subject of significant debate among researchers and security professionals.
And keep in mind, Colombia got a lot of cameras, and they are very, very up to date with their stuff. So they are capturing who's online, what they're doing. It's a very, according to Andre from Love Crossing Borders, shout out to him. He's saying they got the most cameras in the world, and they're just plugging in to see who's doing what. So they got a very unique system out there, and a lot of these other countries, they got the biometric stuff. All this stuff is going to a database, and I know who's holding that database, and you'd be surprised who it is.
The technology in this space is less mature than facial recognition or document verification systems, and its deployment varies considerably across different airports and jurisdictions. Now let us talk about what this means for travelers and what questions this technology raises. The most immediate practical effect for most travelers is that border processing has become faster and more automated at many major airports. Automated passport gates, biometric kiosks, and pre-arrival data processing have reduced wait times in many cases and allowed the physical space of border control to handle higher passenger volumes than would be possible with purely manual processing. For travelers who hold biometric passports from countries with established, trusted traveler relationships with the destination country, the automated process is often straightforward and quick. The technology is designed to facilitate the smooth passage of legitimate travelers while maintaining thorough checking in the background. But the expansion of AI and border control also raises questions that deserve honest acknowledgement. One of the most discussed concerns is accuracy, and specifically the question of whether these systems perform equally well across all groups of travelers. Research in the field of facial recognition technology has documented that some systems have shown variation in accuracy rates across different demographic groups, with certain groups experiencing higher rates of incorrect non-matches. Border agencies and technology developers have been working to address this, and the systems in use at major airports are generally held to higher accuracy standards than consumer-grade facial recognition products. But it remains.
Keep something in mind. They're putting more and more of these in the airports. If you see them, they're already collecting your stuff. So if you've been through there once, it's already there. So don't even bother to even try to change up your MO, because that's going to raise a flag. So I've already been through it, so I might as well just continue to go through it again.
Area of active scrutiny and ongoing development. For travelers, the practical implication is that automated systems do sometimes produce results that require human follow-up. Being referred to a human officer after an automated gate does not necessarily indicate a problem with the traveler. It may simply indicate that the system requires additional verification for that particular case. Human officers remain part of the process, specifically because automated systems are not treated as infallible. There is also the question of data. Biometric data, including facial images and fingerprints, is among the most sensitive category of personal information. The policies around how this data is collected, stored, used, and shared vary by country and by program.
Travelers who wish to understand what happens to their biometric data in a particular country should consult the official policies of the relevant border agency, as these policies differ and are subject to change. In the United States, the use of biometric data at border crossings is covered by specific legal frameworks that govern how the data can be used and retained. Similar frameworks exist in the United Kingdom and the European Union, though the specifics differ.
GDPR, for all you guys in cybersecurity, that's one of the frameworks.
These are areas where policy continues to develop alongside the technology. Another question worth acknowledging is the relationship between automated systems and human judgment. AI tools in border control are generally positioned as decision support systems, rather than fully autonomous decision makers. The legal authority to admit or refuse entry remains with human border officers in most jurisdictions. The AI system identifies, flags, and assesses, but the consequential decision is, at least in formal terms, a human one. How this balance is maintained in practice and how accountability is assigned when automated systems contribute to decisions that turn out to be incorrect are questions that border agencies, legal bodies, and civil society organizations are actively working through in a number of countries.
Yeah, so you piss off a border agent, yeah, they make the final call. They can get rid of you for any reason they want. If there's a discrepancy, they got the final call. So how you act and how you address things matters, or it cannot matter because they can just be having a bad day and say, "Get the hell out," or they may not like you because of your race or your gender or whatever. Get out. That's the thing when you go to these other countries.
Now let us address some common misunderstandings about AI at borders. One frequent misconception is that these systems are fully autonomous, making final decisions about who enters a country without any human involvement. In practice, the systems currently in widespread deployment are integrated with human oversight. Automated gates refer uncertain cases to officers. Pre-arrival risk assessments inform human decision-making rather than replacing it. The picture is one of AI-assisted processing rather than AI-controlled border management. Another misconception is that facial recognition at airport gates is accessing some vast real-time database of all faces. In most deployed systems, the comparison being made is between the live image and the reference stored on your own travel document. The system is verifying that you are the person your passport says you are, not searching an open-ended database of all known individuals. There is also sometimes a belief that travelers can straightforwardly opt out of biometric processing at borders. The policies here vary significantly by country and by context. In some cases, and at some points in the process, alternatives to biometric processing are available. In other contexts, particularly at international border crossings, biometric processing is part of the standard entry process.
I think you can opt out in the United States. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But I think you can. But that's that you have to double check with the TSA. So you have to go to their website and see if you can do that.
Travelers who have specific concerns about this should check the current policies of the relevant country and border agency before they travel. To bring everything together, airports and border agencies are increasingly using artificial intelligence to manage the scale and complexity of modern international travel. Facial recognition, automated document verification, and pre-arrival data analysis are the most widely deployed applications. These systems are generally designed to work alongside human officers, rather than to replace them entirely. They offer real benefits in terms of processing speed and consistency, while also raising legitimate questions about accuracy across different groups, data governance, and the appropriate balance between automation and human judgment. For travelers, understanding that this technology exists and plays a role in the border experience helps demystify what can otherwise feel like an opaque and uncertain process. The border checkpoint has always involved assessment and decision-making. The tools being used to support that process are changing. The fundamental purpose remains the same. If this kind of honest, informative look at how modern travel and border systems are evolving is useful to you, we would be glad to have you subscribe. We cover these topics clearly and without unnecessary alarm for travelers who want to understand the world they are moving through. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.
There is a particular
Now, why did I show you this in this particular video? It's because a lot of these dudes that's going down there to Medellin and Thailand and DR and all this other stuff that's doing this stuff, they don't realize you're being recorded. All this stuff, you're being monitored when you're traveling. Everything is recorded. Your pattern, your patterns and stuff, where you're going to. It creates a pattern. Everybody's looking at that pattern. AI is monitoring this, saying, why is he patterned? Why is he going to these particular places? What is it about these places? And then, like I said, with that man going over to Homeland Security, I mean, going to the State Department, talking with the FBI, Homeland Security, and all that stuff, he made that trip and he probably voiced his opinion. And that stuff may have been programmed in these AIs. May have been. You don't know what research has been done about passport bros. Because after that incident with the dude, the guy that was caught with the kids in the hotel room, who came in afterwards, who got invited over to Medellin, Interpol. Interpol got analysts, and I know he opened up his mouth and said something about, oh well, these passport bros and stuff like that. What's that? Bet you they went and did some research on it. There may be some intel reports on that stuff. You don't know. So that's why you guys got to be careful. But then again, y'all ain't careful because y'all don't care, because a lot of you guys are just whatever.
kind of frustration that some travelers know well. You arrive at the airport, join the queue, and almost without fail, something happens. You are pulled aside, asked additional questions, sent to a secondary area, and it happens again the next time.
It's been identified as notable. Types of flags have different sources and any past
It's the
immigration or
same damn
customs
video.
issues
My bad.
means that additional questions.
Okay, two videos got tapped in together. My bad. Um, Basically, this is what I'm saying, guys. You need to be careful when you're traveling. Um, Basically, I just threw that in there because I wanted you guys to have an understanding about the videos, the stuff that's going on behind the scenes of travel with technology. Where's that other video at? Give me one quick second, guys. That's not it. That's not it. That nabbit. Play fuck. All right. Screw it. That's what I wanted, to show you guys. And I dropped the link in here if anybody wants to come up. But that's the thing with this whole drugging and robbing thing, is because you guys are constantly going to this country and you're being watched. It's one thing you're traveling all over the world and stuff like that. And like I said, some people may have their reasons of going back to the same country over and over again. That's cool. No one's saying you can't do it, but be smart about it, because you're being watched, you're being monitored. There's people whose passport has been pulled over. Like, let me give you an example. I had a classmate of mine when I was studying in Israel. I had a classmate of mine. She was doing an internship in what country she was in. I think she was in Denmark or Stockholm. Was it? I think it was Stockholm. But anyway, she was coming back and she had to go make a stopover in Moscow. And when she arrived, she got pulled over by the immigration agents. So they asked her a whole bunch of freaking questions, and she answered the questions like, okay, this is what happened, yada yada, this, and that. So they helped for a little bit, and they were like, okay, go about your way. So she's heading back to Israel. So when she got to Israel, something came over the wire, and the Israeli officials just told her, okay, we can't let you in the country. You're gonna have to go back home. So she had to go back home to India. Well, of course, the Indian embassy raised some hell about the whole thing, and then she eventually ended up coming back to Israel. But the thing about it is, it's like this is the point I'm trying to get. When you getting kicked out of the country for stupid stuff, like you bringing in like butt plugs, and you over there for a week, and you bringing in like a crate full of condoms and whatever, all that stuff. But they put in these orders, you don't know what they're putting in there. In these orders sending around and stuff like that. You don't know what's in these digital databases and stuff they're putting in about you because you don't see it. You know, you got kicked out of this country because of this, and that. You got to be careful. It's like with me, yeah, I carry condoms because you never know what's going to happen when you go on a trip. Want to have the best, but because of all this stuff going on in Colombia, you think I can go to freaking Colombia now? No, they're kicking everybody out for any little thing under the sun. So it's like, why bother? But this is what the video is about. I didn't want to get into it, but this is a problem because like these guys that went there, they got drugged. They knew the rules. And it seems like this is a common trend, they're lucky even to get, woken up. And this whole thing was going to, these South American countries and stuff. Everybody, do what you want. That's you're adults. But like I said, these are the consequences, and these consequences unfortunately whittle down to people who's not even involved in this stuff, and we get the stink eye and stuff when we get over there. A lot of people made the way for us, especially as black people. We paved the way, like the Buffalo Soldiers and all us black soldiers that went overseas and paved the way for black travel. You know, now we got knuckleheads just tearing it down. You know, and we've been through this topic about being safe from being drugged and robbed. We've been through this topic like how many times? And it's still happening because people still going on Tinder. Like I said, Andre from Love Crossing Borders just told you, go to a brothel if you want to do your thing. It's a lot safer. You ain't got to worry about bringing her home. You ain't got to worry about getting drugged if they don't do that stuff in their home. Because if they do that, then they're going to get raided and they're going to lose their business. There's plenty of them around. I don't understand why you guys don't do that. But you get these ones off the street that's going to drug and rob you. It just doesn't make sense to me. But this is like I said, y'all adults. But robbing is going to continue. It's going to continue, and there's going to be more bodies being sent home. These five guys, they're lucky. The guy that lost what was it, all that property and stuff in crypto and bank accounts and stuff, he's lucky he woke up. A lot of these guys, some of the guys are lucky to wake up. Others haven't. Like the guy that from American Airlines, three border patrol agents from last year, and a whole bunch of other people. Hate to give you guys a lecture, but reality is reality, man. And the reason why I'm kind of giving it to you because in the next live, I got to go over a whole bunch of easy visas to get. One of them is Colombia. And I know a lot of you guys want to go to Colombia. So I'm giving you guys these visas because the fact of the matter is this country's gone, you know, hell in a handbag, and y'all want an easy exit strategy. And the only one that came up that was pretty easy to get was Colombia. And that's if you're welcome, because right now locals are pissed off. So are you still welcome in that country with all the stuff going on? And it's a pretty decent, easy to get, but they're going to be really stringent because of what's going on. And then you have to ask yourself, are you going to be safe? So that's going to be the next live I'm going to be doing, and it's going to be a PowerPoint. I had to do some research and cross-referencing, and some of the numbers are going to be slightly off because things are changing and rules are going to change, and you're going to have to go to the site yourself. But I'm just going to give you a general idea of it. But one of the countries is Colombia, and I know some of you guys wanted to know about Colombia, so you're going to get that intel on it. But there's going to be some other countries that's going to be uh, worth it. I may do it this week. I may do it next week. So keep a lookout for that. But other than that, uh, I gotta. That's basically it, man. I thought it was gonna be a little longer, but I accidentally gelled two of the same videos together. My fault. But anyhow, thanks guys for coming in and watching. I will catch you guys later. The next video, the visas, because we're going back to the old strategy of just pushing visas, man. Because pushing visas, finding a safer place to go. Because, like I said, what's going on here, man? You're gonna have to find your escape plan. I got mine. So, and and keep in mind something about these visas that I'm showing to you. These are visas that are cheaper to get, or a little bit easier to get. Um, some you may want to use relocation services or a lawyer to help you with, because some of the applications are going to be in that language of that country, and if you don't know the language and stuff like that, you're screwed. Um, I would seek them out because it helped me out a lot. Pay the extra money. Some will say you can do it yourself, which you can do. I know for Spain you can do it, but before you even make that leap, go to the country first and check it out. Go take a couple of trips to that particular country and see if it's a fit for you. Not because of the women, just see if it's a fit for you, because you got to live there. Eliminate the women portion of it. Can you live in that country? Can you survive in that country? Is it comfortable for you? Okay, because that's what's going to matter. If it's not comfortable for you, where you can live and deal with the environment, then I wouldn't go. That's why I eliminated a lot of some of my original one, like Brazil. I eliminated Brazil. I was big on Brazil, but the housing market was bad. The crime, I couldn't really take, even though I was just in Rio. I couldn't deal with the crime. I couldn't deal with some of the politics. I just eliminated it. Um, you have to find what's comfortable for you, especially getting the job too. That's another thing. So that's going to be the next live stream coming. So other than that, we're almost near an hour, so I'm gonna cut it quick because I had a really busy day. So until next time, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Have a great week, great and even a much better weekend. And I may do it this week, or I may do it next weekend. Okay, catch you guys later.